Cambridge Crystallographic Data Center. He's the Director of Strategic Partnerships and the liaison with the scholarly community.
Okay, thank you for the introduction and for this opportunity to take you on a journey from data to knowledge in the company of a cast of crystal structures as we take a tour of the services provided by the Cambridge Crystallographic Data Center. Our journey begins with an experiment on a diffractometer, the result of which is the experimentally determined positions of atoms in a molecule and an indication of how those molecules are arranged in a crystal. This is all captured in a CIF file. CIF is a standard format that was introduced in the 1990s and developed with input from the CCDC, and it transformed the way in which crystal structure data is communicated, not least because of its wide adoption by both the publishing and the crystallographic communities. Today, researchers deposit CIFs via CCDC's recently refreshed deposition services, which provide basic validation checks and also encourage the depositor to provide additional information about both the data and the experiment. Many of the data sets deposited with us are destined only to be released on publication of an associated article, and orchestrating this process for 60,000 structures a year is one of the key tasks that the CCDC undertakes within the wider publishing ecosystem. On publication, all of our data sets are made freely available for anyone to download, but with the launch of our new summary page next week, where it will be possible to interact with the structure directly in the browser, it'll be possible to skip the download step in some situations. This shows you an example of the bidirectional linking that Hilke was talking about earlier, where services provided by both publishers and CCDC enable links between article and data hosted at the CCDC. And this year we started assigning DOIs to our data sets. This has prompted us to think about how we can encourage better citation of data, and it's also opened up opportunities for interoperability, one example of which you've just heard about. A critically important task that the CCDC undertakes is to associate a chemical representation of the substance studied with the data deposited. It's rare that this is actually provided with the data, but if we don't have it, it significantly limits the reusability and discoverability of the data set. Automated tools can help, but these are not guaranteed to be 100% reliable. So it's for this reason that CCDC scientific staff review every structure before it's added to the Cambridge Structural Database. If we have this representation, we can take advantage of standard chemistry identifiers and formats to expose structures in other resources, making them more discoverable by a wider cross-section of the community. Importantly, having a comprehensive combination of chemistry and crystal data provides a foundation for knowledge-based tools that provide insights into molecular dimensions and an indication of how molecules interact. These are important in a range of areas, not least in drug design and drug development. If we know the factors that influence the shape of the molecule, we can use this knowledge to optimize the design of a drug so it fits more comfortably in the cavity of a protein. Comparing structures can give insights into chemical and biological mechanisms. And if we know the likelihood of particular molecular interactions occurring, then we can use this information to help avoid manufacturing disasters that can result in a drug being taken off the market. It's this journey from data through to knowledge that the CCDC aims to facilitate, from the initial deposition services through to applications that expose structural knowledge so it can be applied to some real-life situations. And just to touch on the issue of sustainability, it's knowledge-based tools and applications developed by CCDC that underpin this. The financial contributions these attract are what primarily supports the continued provision of community deposition, dissemination and discovery services free of any financial barriers. Next year, we'll be celebrating 50 years since the Cambridge Structural Database was established, and there's good reason to celebrate. If we look across the main structural databases, over 1 million structures have been made available in the public domain. But it's also an opportunity to celebrate some select successful collaboration, not least involving the researchers who are willing to entrust their data to organisations such as CCDC, but also the publishing community who play a pivotal role in making the results of research available. Research data is very much at the forefront of scholarly communication discussions today, And I think there's a lot that can be learned from the experiences of domain repositories across all disciplines over the last 50 years or so. But the environment around us is changing, and the CCDC is looking forward to travelling into the next 50 years and taking on new challenges and opportunities that are arising, and to continuing that journey with our partners in the publishing industry, travelling down new roads, however bumpy they may be. Thank you.